I once sold over a $50,000 order from a session I photographed in a family's backyard in a different state with a lens I'd thrown in a bag that morning because I didn't want to carry anything heavy on the airplane. Now, if you're waiting for me to tell you which magic lens that was, I have to disappoint you. I'm pretty sure it was the 24 to 105 that came in the kit. So this video, I'm going to show you why one lens is genuinely enough for portrait work that gets you paid, where that stops being true, and what your money should be buying instead. Because if you're waiting to upgrade your gear before you raise your prices, you're solving the wrong problem. By the way, I'm Sarah Petty. I've been a portrait photographer for 28 years, and I love helping portrait photographers build a boutique photography business where they're selling wall art and albums and books instead of so many digital files. So listen, let me walk you through my actual gear because photographers are always asking me, which lens should I use? And they're hoping that I give them a model number that they can go write down. I'm not sure that's where we're going here though. Listen, I use Canon. The 24 to 105 is the kit lens, the one that comes with the camera. And it's a great travel lens because then I don't have to have multiple lens. My go-to, if I can take it, is the 70 to 200, and I love that lens. It's a beautiful portrait lens. I can get really shallow depth of field with it, and if I could only have one, it's heavier, but that's the one I personally would keep. And if that kit lens that you bought on eBay with a camera and it's what you have, you're fine. It's like a chef who's cooking a meal with one pan from Walmart. Is that ideal? No. Would you eat what came out of that pan? Absolutely, because it's probably going to be better than what you could make. And listen, you can practice your photography skills, your lighting, and your posing with an iPhone if that's what you've got. But if you're charging for your work, you need to be using a professional camera. I'm just saying the right lens for you is probably the one you already own. I've never been much of a gear chaser. I started with a nice camera and a nice lens many years ago, and over the years I've added a few prime lenses. I have an 85 1.2 that I love. It's super fast. So when I'm photographing little babies with their like toes and their ears and their little tummies, I love that lens. I love it because an amateur who's got their camera on P for a professional, that's our joke, they're gonna have everything in sharp focus and not even realize the difference versus an artist who understands depth of field and how to manipulate your equipment. You don't have to be an expert to do that. And listen, I've gotten caught up in the gear trap too because I could. One of my daughters in high school was a really good runner. She ran track and cross country. So you're chasing them down in fields and you can't get anywhere near them. So I bought the really long 100 to 400 millimeter lens and it's giant. So I would go to those races and I got some gorgeous images for her album, but I tried using it in a session and it's too far away. And I had to put my clients way, way, way far away. So I ended up selling it. So what I want you to know, if you notice when I bought it, I built the business first. I was making enough money that I didn't need that lens, but I wanted it. And so I was able to write it off because I used it in my business too. That's what's nice about doing it this way. Once you know how to make money with whatever lens you already have, you can go buy all the lenses that you don't need, but you just want. That's fun. So let me go back to that $50,000 order because the interesting part isn't the camera bag. I was traveling. I threw in a camera and two lenses is the most I ever travel with. And if I was photographing a whole group, I might have put a wider lens in there, but with the 24 to 105 and then a 70 to 200, it was several years ago, and I don't remember which ones I actually had, but I know I don't take more than two lenses because my bag is so stinking heavy. I might have just used the kit lens the whole time. But we literally went to the client's home. The kids were running around. They were jumping on the trampoline, being so adorable together. I got every combination of kid. I got the boys, I got the girls. The mom had hired me as a surprise for the dad, but the dad came home from work early, so we were like, surprise. And then he wanted in, so I got him with all the kids. Magic that increased the sale tremendously. When it came to the presentation that I did over Zoom, the client bought everything. I had designed artwork for their entire house, which was so much fun. I'm telling you, they didn't buy it because of the photography. They bought it because of the sales plan and the way I knew what the family needed before I ever got on the plane because I'd been in their home. I was looking at the walls. We were talking about it before I even took a photo. So I was creating for specific pieces for specific walls. That's what we do in the boutique portrait model. You find out what a family wants to be living in their home forever, and you photograph deliberately to create that artwork. Think I could have sold that session for $300 and I sold it for over $50,000. Does that not make you want to go, I'd like to do that? Yeah, you can. Listen, I want you to notice what that does to your gear addiction. When you already know what you're making, you don't need equipment for every situation that might come up. You need equipment for the short list that you planned. And the photographer with no plan needs a bag full of lenses because anything could happen and we might be overshooting and going to 50 locations and all the things because none of it was decided in advance. Now, here's something else I want you to consider. I believe that working with one lens will make you a better photographer, not a more limited one. Most people assume it works the other way around, but one lens forces you to be more creative. You got to move your feet, right? Changing lenses is not what makes your artwork great. You are what makes your artwork great. Moving your body, getting yourself into the position so that you're paying attention to the magic in this session and not your 30 different lenses. Want to get closer? Move your feet, my friend. And listen, in portrait work, this matters more than people think because sessions move fast. I photograph a lot of little kids that I have to chase, and I want to stay present rather than having to think about all the different glass that I have in my bag with me. And in my studio, sometimes I'll change lenses, right? Because it's right there and I'm literally a foot from it, but I can absolutely do it without. This is why people misread their own best work. Photographers assume a giant wall portrait exists because somebody owned a beautiful lens. A good lens helps, but for you, what's holding that image up is the expression, the relationship, the lighting, the posing. It was never just the lens. By the way, if you're liking what I'm sharing here, some real truths about how you succeed as a photography business owner, not just a photographer, and what it takes to use the boutique business model, I think you'll love my free weekly newsletter. I made it for fast-moving photographers, so it's a quick 5-minute read. Go grab that in the description. Now, I don't want you walking away thinking one lens covers every last little job on earth. If you're photographing the Olympics, my friend, or high action sports, you need the best lenses and the best glass made. You want the wide angle for the dramatic frames. You want to be able to get the wide angle shots. You want to be able to zoom in from really far away. Same if you're photographing NBA games or your child's soccer games. Go get the good stuff. If you're making money, why not? Weddings too, my friend, because you can't always walk up and get the close up. So you need to make sure that you have what you need in your toolkit. But if you're photographing kids or families or pets in a studio or on location, it's nowhere near that die-hard of a situation. It's more important to get the image than have the perfect lens. When it comes to equipment, lenses aren't even the biggest offender. Some of you love all the fancy lights, so you get the light kits, the radio poppers, and all the gadgets. Go walk a trade show at a national convention sometime when you're bored. It's insane. It's a toy store for grown-ups. And I'm not telling you to not want it. I'm telling you that you don't need it to make money. And when I see a photographer at a park with an enormous setup for a portrait session, my first thought is that, wow, they're making this a lot harder than it needs to be. And I think that comes from something that we're all taught, which is that you have to be good at something before you get paid for it. So photographers keep buying their way toward good enough to charge more. The problem is that when you work for yourself, the business skills matter more than any equipment you will buy. Nobody teaches you that part. So I see so many photographers having a false belief that if they have enough lenses or enough equipment, they're going to be worth more. And that's just not true. So if the money shouldn't go to a second or third lens, where should it go? Every business has a constraint. One thing holding the whole operation back like a bottleneck. Good business owners find theirs and they invest their money in finding it and removing it. And listen, that's true whether you're Jeff Bezos or Steve Jobs or a portrait photographer in a small town. And I can pretty much guarantee that if you're struggling to run this business, Your constraint is not a third lens. Now, here's something you can do this week. Take a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle. On one side, write the things down that you've invested in for your business that make you money. On the other side, I want you to write down the things that you've bought that don't make you money. Marketing makes you money. So does education, a coach, mentor, and investing in you getting the skills that you need. If you've invested in any kind of personal development or even therapy, put that in that column too, because if you're carrying around something heavy, maybe some past trauma or something from childhood, I'm telling you, it's going to show up in how you run your business and how much fear you have that's holding you back when it comes to asking to be paid. Lenses don't make you money. Your first camera and lens go in the money column because you have to have a camera and a lens and a reflector to make money. Everything after that is a nice to have. You're buying a nicer experience, but a lot of that you can do with props you already own or have your client bring their own. And listen, if you are starting out with nothing right now, first borrow if you can, but if not, buy a used camera kit and get going. Learn to make money the right way with that camera that you have that can produce a large image. And my gosh, so many of those exist and they're so affordable. Get a second job if you have to. And I always say, let your day job fund your dream job, and then buy the nice camera, get the education you need, and build the business. Don't become a lens collector. Listen, the gear was never what was standing between you and a real income. It was the plan for what you're going to sell before you even pick up the camera. And listen, if you want help building that, book a free call with my team. The link is in the description below.